Today is June 1st, 2016, back with the Stocks to Trade Daily Recap. The low float trend continues. So basically pretty much every video and every watch list, not every, but almost every recently, has centered around the low float stocks with positive news. Now, these trends come and go. Low float runners have been pretty active over the last quite a while now, but often it comes and goes. They're not always going to rip like they have recently. So, but you can see what you do with stocks to trade. I mean, you're just logged in pre-market and you're watching your percentage gainer scan, and then you quickly, when you see the news come across with that percentage gainers, you can see that there's a contract announcement at 8:31 this morning. Will not pass judgment on whether or not that contract is quote unquote real, substantial, if it will take this stock anywhere. What you need to know is that this stock is a former runner. So what does former runner mean? This is something we go over in Stocks to Trade Pro quite a bit, but just a quick summary, it is a stock that when it catches, it runs. I mean, 5-year chart, you can see, look at these spikes, and spikes on volume, which is what we want. We want liquid stocks spiking on volume. And today, OPTT was that. I mean, right at the open, I mean, big candle. I mean, it'd be very tough to buy into this, but then you can see it kind of settles at 4 bases and then rips up, higher lows all the way up to almost $7 a share. Not that you're going to catch all of that move, but I mean, if you miss that initial rip, just like BOSC yesterday, let it settle, let it start to pull again, and there's a good chance you can collect a lot of the meat of that move. So OPTT was definitely the most interesting stock. I mean, it closed up 300% today, even though it pulled back. So BOSC, now this was the featured stock yesterday. Again, very low float, 2.3 million float. What was OPTT? I think it's even smaller, 1.8 million float. Now again, if you don't know what float is, we cover that in Stocks to Trade Pro. But so you get the day 2 of this big ripper of BOSC. It was up from low 2s to almost 5 yesterday, and now you can start to look flip bias on these things. And once it has trouble with 4, pretty much, again, nothing is guaranteed, but once the fizzle comes out and the low floaters, a lot of the guys are trading the same stocks. So now everybody has moved on from BOSC to OPTT. So if you're more comfortable shorting, you can take BOSC, pretty much ride this all day with no real spikes kicking you out, and it pretty much finishes on the low of the day. A good chance this gaps down tomorrow. I mean, you could have a great overnight short on this as well. So then the last, one of the last, NERV, big, huge runner. I mean, let me back up a little bit, up from, $3 to now almost, mid 14s today. So it really had a weak open. This is something that's commonly tracked, especially for day traders. If you get these big momentum stocks, let me get a 1-day chart here, and you can see this thing had a little bit of a spike, like it was going to continue to move, and then just cratered. And now, it basically shook out a lot of your momentum buyers. Now you look for this thing to hold higher lows, and then it basically establishes a trend. And there's a good chance that a lot of guys are getting short into this thing when it broke down into the 11s, simply because it is up from 3. Now they start getting squeezed, and every tick up creates more panic, and you can ride these all day until you get that big squeeze out into the mid 14s. I mean, I'll be perfectly honest. I got short bias on this stock when I thought it wasn't going to be able, or I thought the shorts would get squeezed to 14 and it would run out of volume. But no, it continued to squeezed me out. This was, even though I shorted this stock, should have been a long. This is just a very positive thing when the longs get exhausted, Shorts start piling in, and then that trend continues up. So now, again, this stock is up, 800%. So it should continue to stay on short watch, but today was definitely not the day. Last stock of the day is RPRX. Again, not going to dig too deep into the due diligence, but you can see at 401, they have some positive results in our news feed down here, some sort of testosterone treatment. Huge rip, settled off. Tough to play that unless you already had a position, but depending on how this acts in the morning, very good chance this could be a runner. Not nearly as low float as recent, a lot of the trades, but very positive that this got a big rip and then kind of is holding these $2 levels. So a lot of interesting stocks today. Only going to go over those handful just because of those were by far the most interesting. So look forward to seeing you tomorrow.